back to the Mabe Kitchen in Belize City. I am Chef Longsworth and we have
Sous Chef Angelo Kuylen.
Today, what are we making?
We are making Tres Leches. This is actually my sister's favorite cake, you know.
Yeah, my brother likes this one too.
Okay, so we can always make this for them at home, right?
Well, you can, I won't. We're making it with a twist today. We're adding some passion fruit inside filling. And we're doing just a classic Tres Leches mix. So if you wanted to do just a classic Tres Leches, just skip the passion fruit filling. We're also going to be putting them in jars because they last longer in the fridge and we don't have a large household, so it's just going to be quicker, faster to put together, and I love it.
It's going to look really good. You can see all the layers on the outside.
Okay.
So let's get started then. There's two main components to the cake itself. We need to whisk up the egg yolks and we need to whisk up the egg whites. Why are we whisking up the egg whites separately?
We're whisking the egg whites separately because it's fully made of protein and we're going to incorporate it with sugar so that it whips in some air, because this cake doesn't carry much leavening agents. So the egg whites is where it's going to get its height from and the fluffiness. It's very similar to an angel food cake or a sponge cake à la genoise. Angelo's going to whisk in 5 egg yolks with 3/4 cups of sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. While he does that, I am going to be incorporating some egg whites and sugar just to make a classic meringue.
So after about 4 to 5 minutes of mixing, it's now very pale yellow. When I lift up the mixer, it's almost ribbony. As you can see, when it falls on top of the mixture, it melts in slowly. That is what you want. That is how you know that it is ready.
And here you can see I have stiff peaks. What do they mean peaks? Because this little tip here stands up from the egg. Stiff peaks. It doesn't fall off the whip.
You can put the bowl over your head, right?
You want to try it?
That's right.
Hey. Okay. All right. So the next step, he's a little bit braver than I am. The next step we have the flour. It's a 1 cup of flour. This is all-purpose flour. To that I'm adding 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I'm adding the baking powder. Just going to sift this together.
Now I'm going to be mixing in the flour mixture, the dry ingredients, the milk into our egg yolks. I will start off with flour and end off with flour. So I'll put 1/3 of this, half of the milk, another 1/3, the remainder of the milk, and finally the flour. So now that I have my egg yolk mixture fully mixed, there's no lumps, there's no trace of flour, it's completely mixed properly. I'm now going to fold in the egg whites into this. You have to be very careful when you're folding it. If you overfold, what's going to happen?
It's going to deflate, and then your cake is also going to get tunneling, and you're going to get a section of the cake at the bottom that's going to be rubbery, and then the top is going to be light.
You don't want that.
No.
You have to gently fold this in.
We're going to put half of the egg whites first.
I'll start off with that.
Okay, so we have the oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 176 degrees Celsius. And I'm just going to grease the bottom of the pan with some Pam and not the sides, because I want the cake batter and the meringue in the cake batter to be able to rise and cling to the top like a souffle. Perfect. There we go.
Okay, so now let's add our mixture in.
We're just spreading the cake batter along the edges of the pan We're not gonna push down, and we're not gonna tamp the pan down either, because we don't want to get rid of all the air that we incorporated into this mix.
Want to add a little bit more? Let me scrape it
Yes.
off.
For you, should we put this in the oven?
Yes.
Today I've brought the passion into the kitchen. We're working with passion fruit, or maracuya in Spanish.
Maracuya.
And you're gonna cut these in half and take the filling out. And
This will be for our curd, right? This will be for the passion fruit curd.
The passion fruit filling, yes. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to mix the tres leches mixture together.
So now we are finished with mixing the 3 milks.
Yes.
And I'm done with mixing up the passion fruit with the cream cheese. So now what we'll do, we'll put this into the refrigerator. I will put a plastic wrap over my filling.
And I'm just gonna put mine in the fridge.
Reason why I'm putting a plastic wrap over it is because I don't want it to develop a film. So I'll put the plastic wrap right above the mixture. Into the freezer it goes. There we go. Beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
How can you tell when it's ready? You can tap the top, and if it bounces back, you know your cake's finished.
So we're gonna turn this over onto our silicone mat. We'll start to cut it up into the circles, paste into our jar, and then start the assembly process.
We've cut out the circles from our sponge cake, and I'm just going to go ahead and plop it into the bottom of the jar. And then I'll pour over some of the tres leches.
Maybe like a tablespoon. And I'll add a tablespoon of the mixture into my cake, into the mason jar. Just make sure everything's getting wet.
While he does that, I'm going to go for the cream cheese and the passion fruit mixture, and I'll just layer this on top of my cake.
So now we're done assembling our tres leches cake. As you can see, we have the cake, the heavy whipping cream, the
Passion fruit
filling, and that repeated 3 times for me. I'm going to cover up and I'll let this rest. I'll try to let it rest for an hour. I'm very tempted to taste this right now. I'll try to leave it for an hour.
So I'll put this in the fridge, and if you can't wait the hour, put it for 15 minutes in the freezer.
Let's do that better. And there you go. Tres leches passion fruit. Let's try this out. Cheers. The tanginess from the passion fruit with the sweetness of the whipped cream and the sponginess of the cake.
And it's not too sweet. Like, you would think the condensed milk would make this pastry like cloyingly sweet, but it doesn't. It's so refreshing, it's tart, it's perfect for the summer. You gotta try this at home. And if you can't find passion fruit, mango season, they're right here.
Continue following us for more videos. Where can they find us?
On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and even TikTok.
See you guys soon.
Buy your appliances at mobabilis.com.